Hello my crafty friends, Corrine here from Corrine Crafts. I hope you are well and I hope you are enjoying your crafting, even if the weather is a little bit warm where you are. This is the next instalment I've got for you in my Christmas in July series. As we all say, we start prepping in July so that we can get the products that we need bought, the projects that we need made, ready to be able to sell them or start delivering them from October onwards, which is usually the rough timeline that we are working to. This one may be a little bit more involved than some, but just a couple of poinsettias, a really lovely Christmas sentiment across the middle, and again using up some of our scraps. I really love this. I'm going to show you now how I put it together. This card is going to sit really nicely against the first card that I did with the Thrifty Thursday strips of card. So it's a very similar sort of look, except we're going to sort of jolly it up a little bit. And I've got a Merry Christmas die. It's a 2-layer die, so you cut the 2 layers out, the layer up. And I've got a lovely poinsettia die. So I thought for this one, this is the first one that I've done of the season with poinsettia, I'd go quite traditional and we're going with a lovely red. I'm not sure which red this is or where it's from. It's very similar to the Lime Tree Crafts poinsettia. I'm not sure if it is or not. So just to show you, it's a larger card, it's rectangular, and my card topper, this one here, is 6.5 inches wide by 4 3/4 inches tall. I'm going to make it as a 10-fold card and hope I get the card base right this time. My card base is going to be 7.5 inches by 5 3/4 inches. So a reasonable size card. But when you look at the size of this poinsettia and also the size of this Christmas die, Merry Christmas die, you're sort of limited. It's not going to work on a small card. So as I said, this is my 6.5 by 4 3/4, and it will be matted onto there in due course, but I just need to leave it off for a minute. And then my card base, if I can open it up, there we go, is, as I said, 7.5 by 5 3/4. It's got some gold encapsulated glitter and some white on as well. So I've just had that drying nicely. So let's have a look at what we've got here. So I've shown you these. I've also dug deep into my stash and I found fleurs. Now, you know, I did fleurs years and years ago, but I've got the winter berries, the edge to edge winter berries. And I've also found from the Night Before Christmas collection, the festive foliage, and I'm just going to be using little bits from there. And I'm going to show you what I've cut. You don't need to see me cut, it's just cutting through a die cutting machine. So using that exact same red, I've cut the Merry Christmas and I've cut the poinsettia. Then using some of the encapsulated glitter card, I've cut the top layer of the Merry Christmas. I've cut one of the leaves for the poinsettia, but I don't know if I want to use that. I've cut the winter berries. And then I've cut the centres out for the poinsettia, and again I didn't think they were quite right, so out of the Night Before Christmas one I've also cut the little circles as well. I've just left them in there so I don't lose them. So I think the first thing I need to do is to put that bit together. Now these dies weren't expensive, I will link to them. Now they weren't expensive, but the one thing I will say is I found is they didn't release, this one particularly didn't release as well as some of your more expensive dies. It cut beautifully, I had no problem with the cutting, it held it in the die. They've not got the non-stick coating on like I've always had with my Crafter's Companion, Sizzix, tattered lace, all of those. They all sort of have a coating on so that you can release them easily. This one took a little, this detailed one, perhaps it's because it was encapsulated glitter card and it was just harder to get out, I don't know. It was the only one that did. That came out nice and easily. It was just this, maybe it was the card or maybe it was a combination of the two, I don't know. I will link to it, but just bear in mind that some types of card from this detailed one aren't as easy to release. But you can see I've got it out in one piece. I promise you I haven't had any failures with it, i.e. didn't cut or didn't come out. But consequently what it's done is it's sort of stretched it. So if I lie this over, it doesn't, it just looks a little bit wonky. So I'm going to do this very carefully. So I've used my precision glue press so that I could get the tiniest little bits of glue on. If you want to just sort of dab it down, that will get off any excess. And then all I need to do is layer them one on top of the other. So it gets rid of most of the red on the Merry, but you can just see it like through the E. And then I'm just being very careful that everything lines up. So we're going across the R, the I, and then this is where it started to stretch a bit, but it seems to come back. Look there, I can just need to come back to that in a minute. Let's get this laid down. You can see on here. So I'm going to come in with my pokey tool and I'm just going to make sure it's in the right place. Now, this one here, I just need to lift a little bit just here. It's a little bit wonky at the first bit. So let's just lift that a little bit and see if I can get it to fit a little bit better. Sometimes we just have to convince these die cuts to do what we want. There we are. How about like that? That looks lovely, doesn't it? Now I'm just going to go over it with my cloth to press everything down. Isn't that gorgeous? I really like that. I love the two-tone. I'm sure I've had other ones where you can do that, but I can't find them now. I don't know what I've done with them. So there we are. So that's what we have got there. So I think the next thing I should do is have a go at making some of the poinsettias up so that they can be drying. Want shaping mat and some ball tools. So let's just put that to one side. Might actually just weight it down. There we go. So let's get some of the poinsettias. So I cut 2 complete sets out. So as you can see, I've got 2 of each size here, if they're all there. I seem to have omitted a small one somewhere, but that's fine. Actually, I don't need that for now. It's probably, when I stand up, I'll probably find it on the floor. So what I thought I'd do is, I love these. They've cut with detailing, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently shape it. I don't want to do too much, and then I'm just going to shape it that way. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to use them as a complete set, so like one across. What I thought I'd do is I'd use 2 of the largest and 1 of the next size. I do like 3 layers. And then like that. Now, one thing I like to do with poinsettias, and I don't know if this is going to work with this one, is grab the end and just give them a little bit. So I tend to grab it and push it back towards the centre. Just gives it a little bit of shape. Back towards the centre. Just like that. I'm going to have to go in with my ball tool a little bit, a bit crease, but just give it a bit of shape. Let's go over that with the ball tool a little bit. And that. And that, there we go. So what I will do is I will do this with tacky glue. I'll do it on my non-stick mat. Put a tiny little bit in the middle. Really don't need a lot of glue. Look at that tiniest bit. Then I'm going to stagger and press that down. And then another little bit of glue. Just like that. And then I'll put the next one on and stagger that one too. What you can then do, pick that up before it sticks to, oh, see, it stuck to the mat. Press that down, put that back on again. It just stuck to the mat, that was all. I'm going to pop that onto my mat. I'm going to get quite a small ball tool and just give it a little bit of a press. Can you see how everything just sort of comes up, which I really like. I like my die cut shaped. Now, is that too big? I think that might be too big, so I might just go in with, let's see what these look like. That looks a bit small, doesn't it? I'll try it with this. So what I might do is, because that's dipped, I might just put a little bit of 3D glue in there. That's quite a big bit. I might get this. Let's give this a bit of a shape, so it's a bit more berry-like. And then we can pop that. I might have gone a bit heavy with the 3D glue, but I wanted to, yeah, that works, doesn't it? Quite like that. Okay, lift it. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to miss that one out. I'm going to take these smaller ones, these 3 layers, and I'm going to do exactly the same. I need a smaller ball tool. I'll use the smallest one. And there we go. So we've now got 2 poinsettias, a big one and a little one. Now I know poinsettias now, they come in all sorts of colours. You get pinks and whites, but I thought I would go quite traditional because I do like reds for poinsettias. So we've got that. So what else have we also got? We've also got some foliage and some little bits. I don't know how much of this I'm going to use. We've got some leaves which go with this set, and I cut from a different set, that other set. I cut those, and I've got those, and I have got actually a couple of gold dots I could be using. So I've got those. So I'm going to put all those to one side, and that can all just be drying for a minute. And then I think we need to be looking at the card topper. So here we go. And as I said, this is very closely linked to the one I did the other day. So I've come back in with some strips. So last time, what did I have? I had pink, red and green. Well, this time I've come in with pink, red and the gold. So I thought this would work really, really well. Different card types as well. So I think what I need to do first is work out where the top one's going to go. Let's get that bit out of the way. It's going to go about like that. So I just want to measure, what is that? Let's do 1 1/4 inches from the top. So let's go 1 1/4 inches there, and then measure 1 1/4 inches. Now if I get the first one right, all of the rest will follow. So let's go, as I said, we're going to do a gold one first. So let's do, not quite enough glue. So just literally cut these off the strips, and then I'm going to pop it there to there. Now I've cut 1/2 inch and just over 1/4 inch strips. So yeah, they're all different widths. So let's just put a red strip on next. I'm not going to be quite as fanatical as I was with the previous card. And then we go in with pink one. Let's do a wider pink one. There we are. Like I say, you can butt them up, and so long as you've got the first one straight, then they should all follow. Like that. And then a red one. And I think that'll do. So it's only got 1 pink, but I think that'll do. Oh, let's go on here. Then I know where the glue is in the right bit. There we go. There we are. Just make sure they all butt up, unless you want a gap. If you want a gap between them, then that's fine, but make sure you have a consistent gap. And then we're going to just turn that over, and we're just going to put the scissors against the edge there, and I'm just going to cut that away. As I always say, if you find it hard to do that neatly, you can always cut your topper a little bit bigger and then just trim it down once you've finished. So we're going to go that way, aren't we? So that's then going to go onto here. Now this isn't the thickest card. I've done it because it's a really nice bright white, but what I think I might do is I might go with red liner, just because where I've done it on here, oh, once it's dry, it's, well, it was showing all the glue marks, but now it's dry, actually they've disappeared. I'm going to risk it then. I'm going to risk it. So let's go. I won't do too much glue. Perhaps this card just shows the glue until it's dry. Once it's dry, it's a lot better. Maybe. Who knows? It's 220 GSM, so it shouldn't be a problem. Should not be a problem. And then that's going to go on to this red layer, which I really like, because it, like, the red just sort of runs through, doesn't it? Let's give that a nice burnish. Now, do I want red at the top or gold at the top? I was doing gold at the top, but I think I quite like the red at the top. Let me get my sentiment. Now my sentiment's going to go across there. Let's see with it round that way round. No, I like red at the top. Let me check which way I've got my card up. There we go. Now, I have still put my tape vertically. I nearly put my tape horizontally, but I'm going to be putting my sentiment horizontally. So I thought, no, I would still put my tape vertically. It means I've used a lot more lines. Hopefully I've not used it any more, because I've used, what have I used? 7 shorter strips instead of like 4 longer strips. I don't know. I didn't want it dipping and being, you know, bumpy and lumpy. I would rather use a little bit more glue and know that it's going to be right. So let's go with this across here, all the way across. You know by now I always put a little bit of PVA on, just to pop. Definitely got the card the right way up. Now I could have put the red layer straight on to the gold, but I just like white between my layers. It's just a personal choice. There you go, how about that? And then you could, if you wanted to put your press on. Now, I'm going to pop this across here, just like that. There we go. Go with my precision glue press, swapping around the different glues all the way, just to find, you know, when you know which one works. So I'm hardly pressing on this. I know a lot of people are finding this absolutely brilliant if they're struggling with their dexterity. You hardly have to press, and when you do press, it's a real gentle press, and it just brings out enough glue. I don't need it for the dexterity. I just enjoy the control I've got over the glue. The nozzle never blocks as long as you keep the lid on well. So we can put that like that. Oh, I can still see the Merry. That's okay. Oh, my Christmas is a bit wonky, isn't it? Does that look a bit straighter? Much straighter. Still got tentfold. That's okay. I'm just paranoid after my previous card. So let's bring in what we've made. Again, so maybe this one is a little bit more detailed than some of your bulk makes. But you'll always have some that need a little bit more. So this one is going to go up here, which I really like. And then let's put a green leaf underneath. And I think I might break the edge of the card with this. Put this off like that, I like that. And then I thought we'd have some gold. Now, I don't know how much gold I need, so I'm going to pop this underneath. I'll keep it like that. And then let's do a small leaf. I might put that on that side. Oh, I like that. I like the green, giving it a little pop of colour. And then we can put this one on. And the great thing about, as I keep saying, the 3D glue is it gives you time to adjust things and move things around. I could have done with another leaf, but I'm not cutting another one now. And I like the gold foliage as opposed to a green foliage or something. I think that works really well. So this is the Fleurs Winter Berries. You'll have bits and pieces. It really is a case of digging in your crafty stash and see what you have got. So instead of 2 green leaves, I might do 2 gold bits. Actually, I might put that underneath the green leaf. And all of the, you know, you can just keep fiddling until you're happy with it, because you've got 3D glue on. Could I have got away with a smaller card base? I don't think I could I? I think if it had gone any smaller, it would have been a little bit overpowering. Now, where's my gold? Actually, I've got, now this, once I start with this is not going to be changeable. Do I want any random drops. Ooh, and a bit of scrap paper out my bin. I know it on here. Let's see if this one's plain ball. So this is a pearl one from Pinflair. And we just... Is it even the right colour? I've also got a Cadence one. These are actually out for another project I need to film. They are virtually the same colour. Are they the same colour? Wow. Okay. Are we going in? We're going to do it. Right. So let's just put some little pearl drops on. There we go. Just two, just like that. I'm not going to put any on there. No, I don't think I need that. I think that's enough. Just breaks up that little bit of white, doesn't it? There we go. And that is today's project, isn't that? But it's a little bit more involved than some, but still keeping your supplies at a minimum, still trying to keep it nice and simple, as simple as we can. So there we go. I hope you like that one. That's today's Christmas in July offering. Please let me know what you think. As always, I'll link to another card. I might link back to the other one with the Thrifty Thursday with the strips on. I'll see what I find. And then on the right will be the link to my subscribe page. And down in the bottom there'll be links to, I'll link to the Christmas die and also the poinsettia. If you can click on those links that take you through to Amazon, that really does help me. It helps with my engagement, and it gives me that little bit of an extra boost with keeping this channel going now that I don't craft on TV anymore. So thank you so much. Please leave a comment and let me know what you think. But until next time, a couple of links, and I will see you all again very soon for another Christmas in July project. So until then, my crafty friends, you take care. Bye for now.